We're back with Soul Connection. It has been a while. I want to say, what, Dr. Linda, since June?
Maybe since June. I think we took a break. It got a little overwhelming, and we both had things to do for the summer. And now it's almost winter.
I know. Now it's almost winter.
Well,
we're going into a new year. I don't know. We have a lot to get into. So let's just, before we do that, if you guys do not know, this is Dr. LindaSalvin. She is a metaphysician, longtime radio on-air personality, as well as a psychic. She is someone that has helped me in a lot of my situations, good and bad. She has helped me with the good and bad. I honestly have to say that she is also the owner, creator, and founder of Wicks of Wisdom Candles.
Which is how you found me.
Which is actually how I found you in the first place, right? That's right. We spoke on the phone, and then I didn't talk to you for like 6 months.
Yeah, I kept calling. I said, how you doing? So I always follow up with my clients. And I thought, well, he said he's got some YouTube thing. It goes, you don't want to know. I said, okay. Because I knew nothing really. I remember you said, no, you don't want to know about my content. I said, okay. I said, well, let's do these candles. And he said, okay. And then I didn't hear from him. And I thought, oh, maybe he didn't like the candles. Then, I don't know, 3 months later, I started getting some orders. I said, where are you getting my information from? Oh, Storm Monroe. I said, what? So I called you and said, what the hell are you doing? And then the testimonies came out. And here we've been partnering on and off for several years now. But why don't you talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. I can first say that the candles have helped to not only shift energy, but also protect my energy.
Oh, yeah.
I've been under several attacks from, some things you guys saw on camera and a lot of stuff you didn't see behind the camera. So let's just put it out there. I'm basically out of a 2-year hate train, right? Mm-hmm. It's over, it's done. And I feel like it's done spiritually. Certain people behind the scenes got together.
We're jealous of you. They're jealous of Storm. They wanted to bring him down, attack him, bully.
As well as sexual attraction, because for some reason, everybody wants to have sex with me except for who I want to have sex with. So people have just done their best behind the scenes to,
destroy you
and destroy me and destroy my reputation. None of it has sticked. None of it worked. It required me to fight back, but of course I was going to fight back. But we're out of that now, and we're past that. And the candles definitely helped. I will also say that I know for a confirmed fact that witchcraft was done against me many, many times.
Yes, and we found how to reverse that.
Yes.
And I don't give away my secrets, but yes. I was just on the phone placing an order before doing the show with the man, Michael, who trained me in 1999 when I went to him based on a referral. And he said, I said, these candles really work. I tried others and nothing ever happened. But he's a Saturn priest and he grew up in the whole religious thing in Cuba, and he trained me. I said, why are you going to train me? He goes, well, you're on radio. You'll help people, plus you'll buy from me. So I just reminded him of that joke. And I'm going to bring him on my show one of these days. He's finally, after 28 years of fighting, no, I don't want to go on the air. I'm just going to come on. But the candles that Storm's talking about, they're in different colors. The candle in Kabbalah represents the soul of man. And the flame, or the wick, when lit, is the flame, which is light, which is God. So we put in oils. There's different types of oils, and there's powders, and there's herbs, all sorts of stuff that goes into ingredients that go into the candle. And then there's a petition. You use a pencil, and I teach you what to write on this. It goes into the flame. I can't explain all of it because that's the magic of Wicks of Wisdom. But Storm found me with Wicks of Wisdom when researching the Kardashians.
Yes.
Back in the day that you were obsessed with the Kardashians. And found that Chris had done an infomercial on candle magic, which was my infomercial. And Storm traced that and found me. And here we are almost 4 years later. And we've become good friends. And the joke is I'm old enough to be his grandmother. But he's learned. And the grateful part I have here is that when Storm was up against the wall with some of these nasty situations, we'll just call them a situation. Some of it, when you're in it, you feel like there's no way out, and some are scary, and some you'll lose sleep over, and some are anxiety provoking, and it's scary out there. But I'm grateful that I was able to suggest like a prescription for your soul, which would be the best formula, of which I have 17 or 18 formulas that attack either the mind or the physical or the spiritual entity, aspect of the entity to clear us. I have health, I have money, I have good luck, remove blocks, obstacles, negativity. I have reversal where I send it back. I have doom, which is not on the website. But I mean, if I really want to create havoc in someone's life, I'm working with a client right now, and I got some doom going, and it's starting to take effect of this third wheel, and that doesn't belong in a situation. But the beautiful part is this peaceful, like harmony, power for peace and home balance, is health. There's, I think you've done path power to get you focused and grounded because it has changed. But the beauty is, not only has Storm gone through a storm in his life, which we all do. It's not always easy. Look what's going on in the world. Let's not go there. But you were also in your Saturn return.
Yes.
And I had to teach you what that meant. And I'm getting chills of confirmation. When we get goosebumps or chills, people, that's the spiritual world going, you're right, you're right, you're right. Oh, I got goosebumps. Oh, I got chills. You're being confirmed. Storm was what, 27, 28 when you came to me? 27.
We started talking in 2020, right?
Yes, you were 27.
Oh, 27, yes.
Yeah, you were at the very beginning of your Saturn return. And you know, well, what's that? We started talking about the planet Saturn, and it takes Saturn about average 28, 29 years to go around the sun. And what happens to people during a Saturn return? A prime example is what Storm went through. And I will go over a list of characteristics that we've been talking about Saturn return, but it's interesting how your journey was at its worst because it was during the Saturn return when they say, don't get married, don't start a new job. If you do get married, the probability is greater of getting divorced or breaking up in a relationship than not in the Saturn return. Why? You'll learn in a moment. Why was there so much havoc in his life? He was building his career. He was starting to make more of a presence online. He was getting there. The people that had a bigger audience, viewership, whatever you guys call the YouTube world, got jealous. There was competition. The new kid on the block was rising. Cream rises. And that's why Storm would come. What about this? What about her? What about him? What about this? What about that? One time I sent you to an attorney because I could see beyond, because that's my job as a psychic and a seer. I can diagnose the situation. And because you followed the path less traveled that was safer in many ways, you're on top. One's really hitting bottom. Another's kind of fallen off the radar. Another one just got busted. I mean, it's like little pins on the bowling alley are getting knocked over, and you're still standing.
Absolutely. And, you know, and you guys have to understand, you have to play the long game, and you have to, you know, it's easy for me to say now because I'm out of it. But of course, when you're in it,
there were moments that, I mean, we would spend hours on the phone, and no, I didn't charge them all the way because we became friends. And no, I don't do that for everybody. So don't get any ideas. But the thing about Storms, he wanted to learn. He wanted to listen. There's a big difference when people just, is it going to call on Thursday? Is this my soulmate? If you really want to know metaphysics, or you really want to know candle magic, or you really want to know astrology, or you really want to know what is Saturn return, if you really want to know for you, I'll take the time. But if you're just testing the psychic and playing stupid games, that's not for me. I'm too deep. No, neither do you.
You know, I'm interested in metaphysics anyway. It's very interesting.
You're deep. You're deep. And a lot of people don't see your depth. They don't know the sensitivity of this Taurus who's walking around, you know, who's tough. But that's what they love about you, because they know deep inside. You can see it in your eyes. You're honest. You might have your moments like everybody. Not everybody's walking on water. But
I'm not Jesus. You tell me.
No, sorry. No. He might have been black and he was Jewish, but I don't know anything else. But no, I don't think he's here right now. He hasn't come back yet. It's not time for the rapture. We're not in enough trouble.
Because everybody's trying to say when it's going to happen. Jesus has not come back. I'm sorry.
I don't think so. No. I think you and I would know.
Yes.
No, we got too much crud of hatred and anti-Semitism and racial and religious conflict that is so uncalled for. We're all the same. And what hurts me is the innocent people who don't deserve getting hit, killed, losing their homes, their families, their loved ones, their friends, the hospitals. Why? Why? Why do we have to keep having a war to prove what? Well, if you look at the government, as much as they want to attack, if you go to the stock market, you start looking at certain stocks, how much they've gone up because of the military. Wars are profitable, just like the drug industry. It's kind of a business, but they literally
just get sacrificed for that.
We are sacrificing, and it's horrible. I get fearful that China's going to go into Taiwan. We've already got Russia in Ukraine. Now we've got Palestine and Israel. And a friend of mine just said he spoke to a merchant marine, not a merchant marine, one of the Marines or a Navy SEAL, somebody that we're so well protected here in the United States that it's almost impossible to get through our ocean and our airspace, that we should be okay. But then I'm reading about some of the nuclear weapons that are supposedly coming out of Russia that go right beyond our security. I'm not versed enough to know, but I've been reading about it, and I get scared. I do. I lock my doors. I've got the cameras. I got the Ring. I've got the safe, Simply Safe. I'm loaded up with protection, but it doesn't mean a bomb can't drop on the roof.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, but why do we have to have war? No, the candles aren't strong enough to fix the planet. I can help fix us individually, and that's all that's important. Because if we start with peace and healing ourselves, eventually it goes collectively to the rest of the world. I've been in groups and meditations where we all try to bring peace, but we're not strong enough. We're the weaker side. We may have 10 times more peaceful people, but those that destroy, they're powerful in their own way. They're insecure. I was told that some of the people that attacked Israel were pumped up on amphetamines. Did you hear this?
Mm-mm.
That the soldiers that went into attack were so pumped up that they didn't realize what they were doing, so they wouldn't feel anything because they were so drugged. It's an interesting concept. I have to look into that. Wow. But back to you and the Saturn return, when we go through our changes with the planets, and Saturn being the strong, the coldest, the furthest out there next to Pluto, we're challenged with a lot of pain, and that's how we learn our lessons, our karma. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And there were times Storm would call or text or email, hey, I need you. Can you talk? Or like, yeah, okay. And I would hear the conflict. I'm like, whoa, okay, here's the solution. Most of the time it came true as seen, predicted, whatever advice.
Sure did.
A lot came true.
There's times where you will say, okay, now it's quiet. And you would say, all right, in about 60 days, they're going to do something else. And it would happen. Like, yeah, she's right.
Yeah. But I also said, okay, with one person in particular, I said, okay, do this on your channel, but they're still going to send you an email about something else. And within 24, 48 hours, you got that same email that I predicted was going to happen. Somebody did get humbled after an accidental abusive situation. The love life, you and your women. I know the truth. They can do what they want, but no, you're not going to get them right.
But let's talk about it though, because while we're here, because everybody wants to know. They
want to know about your sex life. They don't even know where you live.
I know they don't even know where I live at this point. But it's like, I just don't. I really don't get it. I never looked at myself as that attractive.
As a sex icon, like a movie star, where everybody, like Brad Pitt, everybody wants to do them.
And I'm like, if you see me, you're not even gonna look at me twice. I promise. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But everybody knows what it is and what I do. But it's just so interesting that people are like,
well, the fantasy starts, the voice resonates, the clothing you're wearing. Like we're in sync today. He's got burgundy running through the plaid, and I happen to be wearing burgundy, and we didn't plan that. But that's also a karmic thing when you're connected to somebody. A lot of times you're in sync, and that's what you want to do in the universe. You want to stay in sync with the flow. So we're in the flow here. He's like a a brother to me. He's my grandson from another life, whatever. But the women that are after this is like fly to fly paper. They can't get away from them. They all flock to you. They all want a piece of Storm. They all want to sleep with you, or no, he's not gay. No, there's no man. You guys can think and say and bash him as you want. I can attest it's not true.
I think she would know she's a psychic.
I think you would tell me too.
Yeah, I would tell her too. You probably would have met him by now if there was a him. But no, seriously.
Or I would have picked up on like, who's this guy that you're kind of like hanging with?
Exactly.
Yeah, I picked
they think it's Jake. And I'm like, it's not Jake.
It's not Jake. I've spoken to Jake. Jake's also a magician or a magic person or a spiritualist. And Jake, no. They're friends, people. Men are allowed to have male friends and bond and travel or play golf.
Yeah, can I have friends? They get mad I hang out with you. Oh, he's with that witch again.
Yeah, I'm a witch. A Jewish witch. No. But yeah, they get jealous. They think we're having an affair. I mean, we live thousands of miles apart. It's not like I'm like doing Storm. I do the show. That's about it. But we may have a surprise for you in December, January. It'll be kind of cool to see what we do. But the main thing is I want to talk about the Saturn return, all the jokes aside. But you went through some really harried experiences that really weren't avoidable because of the career, because of your position, but you're the one that keeps going up, and these are falling to the wayside. You asked about a situation back east. I thought, not yet. Let that dust settle, right? Yep. Even though it feels like you got to be a part of it now. Or, well, what about this person over in Los Angeles that offered me blah, blah? It's not going to be your best interest at this point. Why don't you concentrate on blah, blah, blah? I think I should move. Okay, where do you want to go? So we looked at houses and apartments and cities and states, and you did it. Now you're settling, and now you're getting ready to do more. The show is growing. The I don't want to say avenues. You're expanding your topics. Yeah. Because you're becoming more broad in who you are. You're maturing, which happens after a Saturn return, folks. You go through a Saturn return. You think you got it all together at 28 and 30, 31. You start to balance out. And
no, I don't know anything. I don't know.
No, Storm knows nothing, right?
I know how to fill. I know how to fill out an application. That's about all I got you right now. That's it.
Well, you got a master's degree. You got one of the top shows. You travel a lot. You are a faithful son to your mother, because I know a lot about his mom and that relationship, and it's beautiful. The private sex life, love life of Storm Monroe is none of your business, people. You can fantasize, question, guess. You're not going to. You won't. And that's why he teases, and that's why he alludes, but you never really get the honest to God truth from Storm on that level, except, no, I'm not gay, and I'm not getting married. That's for now. Maybe in 5 years we'll talk about that differently. But for now,
but they don't like that. But stay right there. They don't like that answer.
No, they want to be the woman. They want you as their husband and their baby daddy.
Oh God, no. But yeah. Oh God, no. Yeah, no to that. But you're right though. People that I think it's just I've always been told ever since I was a kid I come off as mysterious, and I don't understand how.
I think because you're not wearing your heart on your sleeve, but yet you've got a look in your eye that's sincere, but there's a mysteriousness about you. But if people start talking to you, you're open and you're sincere. Yeah. You're not really hiding anything. You're Teddy, but you're Taurus. Taurus is more of a thicker body. I've got Moon in Taurus, so I'm a bigger girl. So the Taurian is the bull, okay? But you're like the teddy bear. Everybody just wants to hug you and feel tucked in under your wing kind of thing. That's the presence, the sexy, romantic teddy bear. But they don't see the angry side of you. They don't see what it's like if you have a stomach ache. They don't hear when you're getting bullied, bashed, legally attacked or something. They see the act online, which is the show, which is entertainment.
Yes, because you come to see a show. I am an entertainer. Like you, and they also don't even know I was trained by a radio veteran, even when I was in college, on how to conduct. I know how to conduct an actual show.
Yeah, you do.
Me
Yeah,
and
you
Dr.
do.
Linda can get a contract with Sirius XM if we want to and conduct an actual show.
Yeah, you can. You
What's
can.
up, people? My name is Storm Monroe, and I am a celebrity entertainment reporter. You may have seen me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and various other social media platforms. But today, I'm not here to talk about celebrities in Hollywood or even to gossip with you. I'm actually getting on this camera today to give you a testimonial about Wicks of Wisdom candles. I actually personally started using Wicks of Wisdom candles in March of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. I was super pessimistic about the validity of the candles, but once I started using them, I had no choice but to admit that the candles were super powerful and did everything that Dr. Linda and I discussed. Throughout the candles that I've burned over the last, I want to say 3.5 years now, I've been able to bring abundance in my life, get rid of blocks and obstacles, get rid of dark energy that was thrown at me, as well as protect myself from various dark energies as well. And so, depending on what's going on in your life or what you may need the candles for, I would personally recommend them. They are literally a prescription for your soul, and I stand by them wholeheartedly. So once you actually order Wicks of Wisdom candles, you're probably wondering what's all going to come in your box, right? What should you expect? So first, you should actually expect the candles that come in a set of 3, and the directions on how to properly use the candles, how to light them, how to remain safe while they are being lit will all come in your box. So make sure you actually read the instructions. In addition to that, you're going to get your oils, okay? The number of oils and the kind of oils that you get in your box is going to be different depending upon whatever situation you have. That could be love, that could be money and success, removing obstacles, good luck, etc. In addition to that, you're going to get your herbs, your powder, and then you should expect your partitions as well, okay? What to actually put on the partitions, how to use them, how to burn them, all of those instructions will be given to you when you make your order.
You can. But right now, you're doing better this way and keep going. But as far as the presence, it's like I was trained by some, basically, my college was science, epidemiology, and public health. But when I was chosen to start a radio segment and psychic stuff on KBIG 104 here in Los Angeles, people from ABC Radio, CBS Radio, Cumulus, some of the Bonneville. Bonneville was the big company back then. And some of the professionals that spent their life in radio taught me how to do radio, how to hold an audience, how to hang up after 3 minutes, how to keep them hanging. There's a technique. Storm, you guys think, Storm and I, or Storm on his show or my shows, or anybody just sits there and shows up. There is research, there's preparation, even what you're going to wear, how your voice feels. Did you get enough water? Did you go to the bathroom first? Did you do enough investigations so that you got enough facts to present without saying, no, you goofed, or you're going to get censored or whatever? There's work. Then there's edits. You got to still work with what you got, and then you got to do something else, and then you got to upload, and then you got to do another one, or then you got to do your hashtags. There is so much work in producing a show. People out there just see the show.
They don't get it. Yeah.
And you teach YouTube training on how to build a YouTube channel.
I do.
And people come to you. Yeah. And people come to you and they want, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, what kind of business? I don't know.
Yep. And I walk them through it, and some of them have went on to, they made 6 figures, and I'm happy. Some have been able to leave their jobs that they were unhappy with. And then
because they listened, they wanted to learn.
True. But then some of them go, oh, this is a lot of work.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
effort,
And
time.
so I say this respectfully, but even when you're working in this is your passion. This is my passion, right? Even though we're passionate about many things, there are still some days where we're like, shit, this is
Got to do
work.
a show. Yeah.
This is work. Or you may have 10 calls back to back and you're like, oh God, I just want to go take a nap. But it's work. And you
It's
push yourself
work.
through.
It's work.
You know, we didn't blow the right person to get, $1 million or something, right? We have to
Well,
work
that
hard.
goes back to the Saturn return, and it goes back to what I said on a show earlier that I did today. That's on my channel at DrLindaSalvin. Thought I'd plug it. I do 3 shows a week, but you can have all the money, all the cars, all the gold records, all the multi-million-dollar homes, and still be lonely,
Yes.
overweight, have high blood pressure, maybe addiction, maybe unwanted children, maybe bills that you can't pay because all of a sudden you hit a snag and what looks good to the world, you're now really bankrupt, or you had a heart attack, or somebody died, or the dog died and there's loss and pain. When you're out in the public eye on the red carpet and everybody looks gorgeous in their gowns and their hair and the men in their outfit and everybody's smiling for the 5-minute interview, you're 5 minutes of fame, and half the time you can walk the red carpet. I've done it and I get bored, like, okay, smile, yeah, and it's just a bunch of people with cameras and you're like, it's fun for like 5 minutes, then you sit through the program, then you go home, it's like, oh, my feet hurt from these shoes.
Yep.
It's fun. Yes, there's sacrifice. You make a lot of money as an actor or a producer. Absolutely. Of course, we all want that. But people, just because you're there in that position or that level of success does not mean life is going to be perfect with relatives, in-laws, animals, loved ones. It's a balance. We sacrifice a lot when we work to get what we want. And a lot of times the family's hurt. And a lot of times, who was it? Joan Crawford, very famous actor of the 30s and 40s with Betty Davis, that whole era of the elegance of Hollywood. I remember reading a story about when she died and how she had this huge mansion in Beverly Hills. Huge. And she had a maid and the butler, and she was taken care of and provided for. But she died alone. She died alone. There were no friends. There were no husbands. She was so mean that she isolated herself from the world, but she lived in her mind of the fame that she had 40 years prior or whatever. But you can't take it with you. You know, I can be a bitch one day and an angel the next, and we all are. But I have friends I'm so grateful for. I mean, last Saturday I stayed home because I'd been out for 7 nights in a row. I was exhausted. I just curled up to watch TV. I was tired. And then if I make a grateful list, what am I grateful for today? I hear birds singing. I got friends to go to dinner with. I've got shows to do. I've got people who believe in me for my work, whatever. You got to get into the gratitude of wherever you are. You're always going to think they're bigger, better, more wealthy, more famous, more in love or whatever. But there's an old saying, don't always judge your insides to their outsides.
Okay.
Think about it. You're looking at their outsides with your insides. So you, me, us, whoever's watching, listening, you're looking and judging with what you know and feel, thinking they have it better over there. But you go with them, or you get into their shoes, or you're in that situation, and it may not be that the grass is always greener. It looks that way. Same thing on YouTube, same thing on Instagram. What about the kids that commit suicide because of all the bullying on these platforms? How do you think the parents feel?
Yeah.
Or the struggles of those kids? Now there's 41 states are going into a class action lawsuit against some of the big platforms because of the addictiveness of the platforms, which they have admitted stimulates dopamine. So we're addicted to scrolling on our phone. We're addicted. Time you wake up, you got to get up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom. Oh, I might as well check Facebook. You know, everybody email me. Got to get that hit.
Yep.
You're not just smoking dope or drinking wine or whatever. Now it's a dopamine hit from technology. But yeah, it's addicting to the point where people don't communicate as well anymore. Oh, he didn't text me. Does he still love me? Well, maybe he's not interested. Maybe he is busy. Well, why didn't he text me back? I texted him yesterday. Maybe he doesn't like you. Why doesn't he like me? Oh, he texted 3 weeks ago. Well, that was, we are in a digital age that human communications changed, because we used to like hang up on the phone or at least say goodbye in person or walk out as opposed to block.
Yes. There used to be a time if you had an issue with somebody, you had to say it to their face.
You could talk and communicate.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say goodbye, you'd have an argument and screw you and huff and puff, and after a few weeks it passed or whatever, you go back and make it up. We don't have that luxury anymore, except if you're mature. And maturity comes out of your Saturn return that we go through, which is what this article is all about. That brings us back to this whole episode today, that when you're 27 to 30, you're going to be in a bumpy area. And then again, around 54 to 56, then if you're lucky enough in your 80s, because the challenges come. But I want to just read a part here that I think your listeners will identify with, because you certainly did, and I did. And it says that even though we're on our path, as we take on more bills, obligations. What did I hit?
Wait, did you hit something?
There it is. Yeah, I just shrunk us. That as we get older, we're not just in high school and college, but we become more responsible with our lives. It says, but the stars above judge us differently than what we think, and don't see our journey to adulthood in quite the same beat. Saturn, the planet of maturity and life lessons, is the one who is life's hardest teacher, forcing us to grow up and face reality. A lot of us don't want to face reality. Thus, there's addiction. There's a lot of porn. There's the gambling. There's the drugs. And I do a lot of that on my recovery show, explaining what we're running from, because escapism is big online. We escape. We escape. But when you're in the retrograde of Saturn on top of it, it's even more magnified. So the beauty about what Storm did during his stormy years, during the retrograde, was he kept working. He had his down days where he didn't do anything because he had to recover, which is normal, or talk to people or unwind, decompress. Life takes on. But then it comes back and says karma is a key aspect of the Saturn return, because it makes you own up to the world regarding who you are at your core. That's our essence. And if you have treated people well, lived in harmony with your body, spirit, and mind, and chosen to take responsibility for your actions and path, you often find that the Saturn return is rewarding. But most achievements and promotions and recognitions start, but then the other side is that we're not fulfilled. The occupations aren't right. The relationships fall apart. We start to wake up because of the force of the Saturn, the planet Saturn, pushing us in two different directions. That's where a lot of the divorces and conflicts or firing or running away or addictions come into play at these ages because of what's happening. Storm was in the middle of the storm. Some of the stories I heard, even in the last 2 months, are still like, how can they do that to you? I've been bullied, you've been bullied, but some of it, as we know, is just pure jealousy of your growth, And maybe one of them really wanted to sleep with you and I couldn't have you. I don't know. But it's more about you stay true to yourself, Storm. And even though you would want to retaliate, and I say, well, I troubleshoot, which I'd say, well, here's one side. He asked if he did this one thing, would there be retaliation and a payback later, and what would happen? And I looked at it, and then I said, well, legally, blah, 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 and emotionally, blah, blah, blah. And I focused on what the true question was, and it had nothing to do with the audience. It was something that Storm was really dealing with until we dug through it, that we found the solution as to what the question was stemming from.
Yeah.
Okay, so people, we think we know everything. The beauty of talking to somebody is, well, there's another opinion, or somebody has the gift to see beyond what you can't. And here's your solution. And now what you thought you were diving into, like a pool without water, or maybe the water was a little more shallow than you wanted, right now you've just backed off and it's okay. Nothing changed, but you're stronger and you have options.
Yeah. And you want to always know that you have options, you know.
There's always a tomorrow. There's always another day. There's always an option. But we as humans, and especially during a Saturn return where everything's more confusing, stressed, attacks, we get confused and we think we'll never get out of it. Just like you said, now that you're on the other side of it, you can look back and see, oh my God, that really was a strange period of time.
Yeah.
It's just time, but sometimes it can go weeks and months or years. You have the choice to improve. You have the choice to change friends. You have the choice to relocate. We have choices. Some people in the world don't, unfortunately. That's something we have to be grateful for. We're not really stuck.
But you know, I purposely live my life like that. I stay single. I stay, you know, child free. So I'm not.
You've chosen that. At least you don't think you have any kids that you know of, right?
Oh, I know I don't have any kids. I am confident. If you say you have a child with me, you're lying. I'm letting you know. I am confident in that.
Yeah, but no, you got through the Saturn. You didn't know what Saturn return really was. We worked on it, and then we talked about it, and then a few shows we did. But now you can see, yes, it makes sense.
But I'm so grateful. I you know, there are some things I would go back and do different, wouldn't we all?
Right? Of course, hindsight.
But I'm glad I didn't marry the high school sweetheart. I'm glad I didn't have a kid at 23. I'm glad. Because now I don't know where I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would be doing.
Well, you'd be working a job probably to support the house and the kid and the wife and the food and the insurance and the clothing and the dinners. And I mean, you'd have, play bridge on Saturday night or go to a football game, or it'd be a different lifestyle. And you might have felt trapped. Or if you had done it in your early 20s, by the time you hit your Saturn return at 27, 28, 29, you start to reevaluate, like, why did I marry Mary at 23? Why didn't I stay single? I loved her at the time, but wow, now I'm like hitting 30. I don't know if I can do this for 50 more years. All of a sudden, like it says, your mortality comes in, like, well, what's my future? We are madly in love in high school. All our hormones are out there. Yes, it's true love, and there are soulmates in high school and college, and we get hurt and our heart's broken. Then all of a sudden you mature, or you miss somebody and you think about them, and you look them up. That's all normal. But if you had stayed with them, would you or I or you over there or you over there have been as happy and content? Maybe he or she was the one that got away. We'll never know, depending on your goal. But for the most part, things happen for a reason, regardless of what our lessons are.
Yeah.
We have to learn something from the pain. And it talks about it in this article. Going through a Saturn return is where all the pain is really in your face to confront your future. Go ahead, talk. I'm going to find this other paragraph that I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so some people know and some people don't, but it definitely was a trying time. And let's put it this way, it would have been very easy for me to get lost in other things. And I'm glad I didn't.
You're bringing it all together now. I mean,
I mean, drugs and alcohol is what I'm saying. I thank God I didn't go like that route.
A lot of people, and we've talked about people that that are addicted, and one of the shows I do is on addiction. I happen to be, and I'm not afraid to admit it, 38 years sober, no drugs, no alcohol. It's not an easy thing, but I'm at a point now that it's not something I miss. At the beginning, it was hard to say, oh, how do you live without smoking dope? How do you live without a Kahlua? But I learned to get healthy. I stopped smoking 22 years ago, and the pulmonary specialist says it takes 18 years for the lung tissue to heal properly without any smoke, pot or tobacco, nicotine. 18 years for the whole regeneration of the lung tissue. And if you didn't know this, lung tissue, if we were to take it out of the body and spread it out, it's as long as a football field. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Our lungs, we have two, the left and the right, upper and lower chambers. And how we breathe, one goes in, one comes out, it filters. But if we took the lung tissue and stretched it out, it's the length of a football field, all wrapped up in our body.
Wow.
So we're smoking, and if you go online, you don't have to be in an anatomy class or a pathology class, which I was for years. You see a clean lung and you see a cancerous lung. And the clean lung is pink and fresh looking, and then the cancer is all black. And you see what we do to our lungs, not just from smoking, but we can live in a heavily populated city, and we're inhaling.
Like LA or New York.
LA with the smoke we used to have, but also there's black lung disease, like in West Virginia with the mines and what the miners go through. So it's almost the same. It's called black lung disease because it's a form of cancer from the coal that they inhale while they're digging, mining. So we have to take care of ourselves. And it's your choice if you want to smoke, get loaded, and ruin your body. But because most of us, and I smoked for on and off 34 years before I finally realized I want to live. I'm going to be healthy. I do.
And
So
you have to
take
ask
the
yourself,
actions.
why are you smoking? Why are you smoking, or why are you drinking? And it's usually
Most for
kinda,
me, probably for you and most people, we wanted to be cool and accepted by the next crowd, or you were bullied, or you felt insecure, or well, they did it and I want to be part of that crowd.
and see, for me, alcoholism runs
In your
my
family,
mom's
that
side of
could
the
be a family disease. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So even though this is gonna sound bad, but even though um I don't have to necessarily drink, like liquor can be there and I really don't care. I have the ability to drink a lot. And I think it's
Yeah, that's called binge drinking. And then you get loaded and then you're hungover. And that's the periodic drinker. That's how I was. I didn't drink every day. I drank on Thursdays and Saturdays like students do. But then I could pack them away. And what was it? Irish coffees in San Francisco and Kahlua and cream in Michigan. I always wanted sweet. As far as like gin and tonic, no, that wasn't me. I don't like beer. Also, I want your listeners to know, and you've heard me talk, there's more and more talk about glyphosates out there, which is in the air. It's in our food. They're spraying it on, quote, the organic foods. It's there's toxicity everywhere. It's in our body. And I sell a product that helps to eliminate the glyphosates. The food industry is injecting the animals with glyphosates so that we can get sicker. But I just saw a video yesterday on wine and beer. They listed 3 wines and 18 or 19 beers, including Coors and Budweiser and some others. I can get the list for you if you want, that all have glyphosates. So not only are you getting a little buzz from the alcohol, but what is beer? It's rye, it's barley, it's from a field. So they're spraying the poison to keep the fields going, but they're putting it into the drink. So we're drinking beer, but you're ingesting the chemical, which is the poison. And glyphosates is like it's Roundup. It's what Monsanto has millions of lawsuits about cancer and death. But to them, they would rather pay off the lawsuits of killing people because they're still making more money selling product. But it's poison.
It's poison. That's sad.
My mom died of lung cancer. My aunt had lung cancer. One was from smoking, one wasn't from the smoking. So all 3 of us smoked. You never know what you're going to get. Heart disease, brain disease, tumors, kidney, liver. People, we're like a car. You open up the hood and there's all these things going on with the carburetor and the fans and the belts. That's the anatomy of a car that a mechanic understands. People with a medical and health background understand the anatomy of a human. And when you realize we're just tissue, we all look good. We got great energy, storm sexy, all that stuff. But if you cut him open, he's going to have lungs and a heart and kidneys and a bladder and intestines just like you.
Yeah, I'm human. Who knew?
We're all human. Well, I don't think you're an android yet. But no, it's just we want to take care of what we've got left because there's so much attacking us out there. I try to help people stay healthy or get healthy or cure from a disease or let go of an addiction and breathe, especially with what's going on. You want to be healthy. So spiritually, we get attacked by stars and planets and people. Then we do our best to find our niche in life with our friends and relatives or our customers, our clients, our listeners. We establish bonds. But what good is any of it if you don't have health? If you don't have health, you have no quality. You don't want to be stuck in bed all day, just not able to move. You want to live your life.
That is true.
So the Saturn return hits a couple times in a lifetime. It says here, karma is a key aspect of the Saturn return because it makes you own up to the world regarding who you are at your core and how you've treated people, but others will realize that they're unfulfilled by their occupation or relationships and move into different directions. On a personal level, many people may start a significant long-term relationship, get engaged, become married, have a baby, or buy a house, and then sometime decide to go back to school, or one day wake up and realize that you're like a tree and setting down roots to grow for the next 30 years may not be for you. It hits during the Saturn return. That's part on the personal level. It says because Saturn's energy is cold, icy, and dark. Think of a bitter winter night howling with sleet, and you're standing out there naked and alone. Sometimes one feels as if they're in the dark night of the soul. And it's true because you are, because Saturn return exists to humble you and teach you the value of everything in your life, everything you've built so far. So if you didn't learn the lesson up to 30 about staying healthy or building a career or starting a family or letting go of an addiction or a sexual romp or whatever your thing is, you go through it. Then between, say, 30 and 55, you're in this phase of life like, I got to figure this out. What am I doing? Yeah. Then you get another chance. If you didn't make it, you're hit with the Saturn return in a negative way. They're like, hey, wake up. Here's your opportunity. We always have choices. We always have decisions. I just say, I've learned the difference between my will and God's will. The spiritual world has a path for each of us.
Yes.
If you learn what that flow means to each individual, you find out what it is. Not everybody can just say, wake up, oh, I'm on the path. No, Storm will consult. What do you think about this? That's not for you. This is. And that's okay, but he still has free will. He doesn't have to listen to me or Josh or Jake, rather, or anybody. You can listen to yourself, but a lot of times we get ourselves in trouble, just like it talks about the Saturn return, because we're overwhelmed or we're learning lessons. We're here to help each other. But the last effort is up to ourselves. No one's forcing anybody to do anything.
Absolutely.
But you want to be a good person. You don't want to hurt anybody.
You don't. And I want to say, let's leave it there. I think that's the perfect place.
Okay. Even though they want to sleep with you.
Oh, Dr. LindaSalvin, where can they find you?
DrLindaSalvin.com, and my YouTube channel, thanks to Storm Monroe, is Dr. LindaSalvin. I have 3 shows a week. One's called Transformational Tuesday on Health, Recovery Wednesday with Candy Finnegan on intervention and recovery, and then Starlight Cafe on Thursday, where I do my psychic metaphysical shows with guests. So I'm everywhere. Just Google Dr. LindaSalvin, you'll find me. And of course on Storm's channel.
It's a Storm Show. It's a Storm Show.